Hello, my name's Brian Harley. I'm the chairman of GEAR, the Group for Evangelism and Renewal within the United Reformed Church. GEAR's been around a while, actually, since 1974, when the folk in the Presbyterian churches and the congregational churches came together, those who'd been touched by the renewal in the 1960s, and began to find each other and formed an organisation which had some basic aims, and those aims are now summed up in an acrostic around the words of GEAR. G, growing closer to Jesus. E, enthusiastic about the Bible. A, alive in the power of the Holy Spirit. And finally, reaching out with the good news, really, really important. I'm here today just to encourage you to think about coming to one of our New Year conferences, which are excellent gatherings. There are plenty of great conferences around the UK these days with great teaching and worship. But there's something special about meeting together with people from within your own network and denomination where you can encourage one another in all kinds of ways. We have these two wonderful weekend gatherings in the new year, and they're really helpful in building up the church and leading us on together in exploring how can we be effective for the gospel. There's several reasons I think it's worth coming to one of these conferences. It's great encouragement for people. Some come from very busy and active churches, but others are perhaps in isolated situations where they're serving faithfully, and it's really good for them to be built up in their faith. There's really inspiring worship, and we also move into prayer ministry and healing ministry, which is fantastic. There's always some inspiring teaching. We usually have a guest speaker or more than one at our weekend conferences, and that is always centred around the Bible and really, really important and upbuilding. And one of the great things is meeting other people from all around the United Reformed Church and often beyond the URC. And we find out what God's doing in various local contexts. I guess the key to that is cross-fertilising and seeing the great things that are going on and learning from each other. Let's hear now a little bit about the two New Year conferences.
I've been going to Swanwick, not over the years every year, but the first time I went to Swanwick I was 14, which was a few years ago, and I really remember the experience of it because it was fantastic, and I really enjoyed it as a teenager. And then it was a really big conference because it was the main conference, the only conference that GEAR was running. And Bob Gordon spoke, and he was really inspiring, and I had a brilliant time at Swanwick. I can remember then they had a swimming pool like Sidmouth, and I can remember young people jumping in the swimming pool at 3 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't me. But several years later I went to Swanwick as an adult, and again had a really good experience of being involved in the Swanwick conference. The more notable ones in my adult life were a few years ago when I heard Rachel Hickson leading when she was talking about prayer, and it was really inspirational, and there was so much I learned, and I bought her books and I read it, and I preached her sermons and nicked all her ideas. But no, it was a really, really good conference that she led then. And then last year John Coles came to speak about healing, and he was again really inspirational, very gentle in the way that he actually led the conference. And it was really good because although there were some people like me who'd gone to conferences from years before and had really enjoyed being part of the GEAR conference sort of set for many years, there were a number of new people there even now at the conference. And I know there was one particular person who was really inspired and was surprised that they were inspired because they'd come along and weren't expecting it to be such a good occasion. So I think the most important thing about Swanwick for me is the real spiritual input and the refreshment that it brings. And also I enjoy good worship at the church that I'm actually involved in, but I think some people who come along where they are at little church fellowships where they perhaps struggle to sing, with 20 people in the congregation, but I know that they're really inspired when they come along and they're led by a worship band and they have a really good time of worship and prayer. My last Swanwick conference that I went to last year, I remember I was right there at the end with people praying, and everybody else had left and had their coffee, but we were sitting there praying, and that was a really special moment, just at the very end of the event when we were even then engaging with God. So I'd heartily recommend. It's a wonderful place. When I came to Swanwick when I was 14, we came right from the south coast up to Derbyshire, but it didn't seem a long journey, and it is just off the M1, I believe, so it's very easy access to Swanwick from most parts of the country. So I encourage you to come along and enjoy it in the way that I've enjoyed it over the years.
The Sidmouth GEAR conference venue is a wonderful old country house. Makes it a beautiful setting for the conference. The main meeting room, the music room. We've even got chandeliers to swing off if you really want to get going in the worship. Classic old building, beautiful grounds, and a swimming pool as well for you to be able to enjoy and relax in during the conference, early mornings or maybe during the afternoon. Food's great, waitress staff and everything, it's really, really well put together. And a beautiful place for being able to walk around the beach and the local scenery as well. So very well, highly recommended. Been a great place to be able to relax and enjoy the fellowship and the teaching and the worship. One of the wonderful things about being at the Gear Conference at Sidmouth has been watching the way that God has been at work in people's lives over the years, and folks having fresh encounters with God as He's spoken into their lives, into personal situations, people receiving prayer ministry and wholeness and healing, being challenged and growing in their faith and helping one another to learn to walk better with Jesus, and benefiting so much as well from the great teaching that we've had from a variety of speakers over the years.
So friends, we'd really love to see you at one of our New Year Gear conferences. They're really great gatherings, and I'm sure you'll be blessed if you come along, and you'll meet some great people from around the church. The details of our conferences are in our magazine, the In Gear, and there'll be booking forms available through that, but also you can find details on our website. If for any reason finance is a problem and you think you can't really afford to come, we'd really like to help you. There's a bursary fund available, so please do ask the contact person. Don't feel at all embarrassed. We'd love to see you and help you share in the conference. And one last thing, if we can be of any support to you as an individual, or particularly in your local congregation, then please get in touch, because we'd love to come and share with you and support you and maybe lead something in your local church. Do get in touch with myself or one of our advocates for evangelism and renewal, Paul Stokes, Andrew and Sally Willett. So if you share our aims in seeing our church growing in the Holy Spirit and in effectiveness in its witness to the wider world, we'd love to see you involved in the work of Gear. Please get in touch. If you'd like to become a member, we have details available on the website and in our brochures. We'd love to have your support and your encouragement, and most of all, to support you and help you be an active and effective witness in your local situation. God bless you, and may the Spirit of God be with you in all you're doing.